Well, Doctor Who fans, we have some huge news. This comes from my insider who broke all the stories about Ncuti Gatwa leaving and the reasons why, and of course, all of the leaked episodes in advance that we knew were the truth about the stories. We have a very, very good insider that has been giving us information, despite the campaign by the BBC out there that's been trying to sweep for Doctor Who. They're trying to create this perception that there's nothing wrong, that everything's just going fine. They've been doing this since David Tennant got back, and of course, since Russell T Davies showed up as well. And we know that every step of the way, whenever they say that everything's fine and that none of this stuff is real, you know there's a real big problem beneath the surface because they just cover these up so big. And now we have perhaps the ultimate scoop that Russell T Davies might be out as showrunner pretty confirmed pretty soon, and that this is going to be announced within the forthcoming months. Big sweeping change. This is something, of course, a great news. This should have been done. Honestly, the BBC should be sacking the guy rather than him quitting, but we'll get into why and what's going on in just a moment. This is the type of news, like, it's like I almost want to put on a suit and like and break this like I'm like a real reporter or something like that. But gosh, that'd be way too much work, wouldn't it? All right, let's get into the news, my friends. My name's John Delarose. I am a science fiction author first, YouTuber second. And this is my Valiant Frontiers trilogy. I wrote a beautiful space trilogy for real science fiction fans who want great sci-fi concepts, something that Doctor Who hasn't delivered in a while. Now, this is about a crew that's exploring the galaxy and, of course, getting into adventures, protecting humanity. Each book has its own plot line, its own single contained deal, just like you're reading an episode or watching an episode every single time. And it actually it culminates with a big time travel adventure, kind of my answer to Doctor Who right here, my biggest, most ambitious book I've ever written. So check these out. It's in the description below, and it's crowdfunding right now. Can't wait to get these to you guys. And I appreciate everybody who's been reading. I've got a lot of Doctor Who fans checking things out. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or anything. I love talking about my books. Really appreciate you guys being here. So, Russell T Davies is potentially stepping down as showrunner from what I hear. This is pretty crazy. And, of course, this entire time, they've just told us everything's good. Everything's going along. Everything's just going to keep going. Doctor Who's not dead. Don't listen to anybody. Yeah, right. At this point, we know that everything the BBC says is just an outright lie and that they're going out there. They'll probably actually do some sort of like press tour saying Russell T Davies is like their most joyful member of the crew or something like that, and actually just not say anything just because of this video. That's what happens. But they've been assuring fans that everything's fine for a long, long time, even though there's been points to the contrary. Ever since Russell T Davies returned as showrunner of Doctor Who, the show has more than its share of controversies and poor ratings. The 60th anniversary specials posted the lowest ratings ever in the show's history for specials, despite bringing back David Tennant, and not only to be outdone then by Ncuti Gatwa, who constantly garnered lower rating spots in his 2 seasons on the show. Throughout this time, even before Gatwa's episodes airs, Doctor Who fans heard about the turmoil on the set with executives. Disney put a sizable investment into the show, and they were not happy with the returns from the get-go. Rumors swirled at the beginning of the run that Gatwa and his companion Millie Gibson would be exiting the show in the immediate future, which led to producer Jane Tranter actually commenting on my blog at the time, saying that everything was fine. And this is something that Jane Tranter went out and said that the writer who said that Doctor Who's dead as we know it was rude and everything's fine. This is the person they kind of send out for those sorts of things. Jane has not reached out to me in the future. Jane, if you do watch this channel or anything, I'm fair. I'm nice. I would happily do an interview with you or whatnot. Talk about the future of Doctor Who. Let me know. Love to break those stories, of course. Jane back then said, it's not ending at all. I can confirm to you that Ncuti Gatwa has signed a contract that runs until 2029. Well, it's 2025 and he's out. So this was not something that was potentially true. Perhaps there was an option to go till 2029, but Gatwa would have to exercise that option at that point, and obviously he didn't. She said also that the ratings were very, very well, and this is also something that was not true with what was going on at the time. So Disney signed up to produce a total of 26 episodes, as we know, 21 of which have been produced according to the specials and all the episodes for the seasons. That left 5 left, which is a really odd thing. Like, why didn't they just put those and fold those into Doctor Who seasons as it was? Don't know, but Russell T Davies wanted to do his little pet project here, which is a spin-off series called The War Between the Land and the Sea. That's right here. We got a picture of one of the characters from that, and it looks like a generic diversity unit group that's going out there being diverse and inclusive, and they have to deal with whatever the problems are that arise. And nobody's hype about this. No, even from the get-go, nobody was really interested in something like this. It just seems like it's like, why would they do a spinoff? Like, I think from the beginning they thought that they're going to have this giant success, that the Black Doctor Who and Disney are going to carry them worldwide. They're going to love that. Everybody's going to love that. It's going to be a whole new era for Doctor Who, and that just fell flat on its face. These people are in such echo chambers and such bubbles. You got to remember, Russell T Davies only surrounds himself with yes men, only surrounds himself with sycophants. And if you look at the writer's room for season 2 of Doctor Who, he brought in a bunch of just gay activists rather than anybody who has like credentials in science fiction and fantasy to write the show. And that's exactly what we got. We got like gay activism, the show. And so these people are insulated like none other. They really probably thought this was all going to be a huge success. They probably even think the war between the land and the sea is actually a really good thing and going out there. But this is what's left off. We have 5 episodes coming, and why are they not out yet? I mean, these were filmed last year. It's done. Everything is ready. And all the things point to the fact that there's internal turmoil, and Disney's just not very happy with the investment that they got. Now, we learned that Gatwa quit Doctor Who for a few reasons. Relations between him and the higher-ups were strained because of professional and political disagreements. One of the political disagreements came from the BBC, who did not want him to be overly vocal on current affairs and discussions. Notice radio silence throughout his tenure with no interviews or real active social media presence outside the show. As BBC is aware of the media storm it could cause for them and the lead actor of their most valuable property in Doctor Who if he was engaging in controversial political discourse. Now, he got a little bit of it, but he was really reined back there. He was also embarrassed at the terrible viewership numbers. So this all went crazy. Of course, it went crazy with Disney executives. They weren't happy with this. That's why there's been no renewal. BBC's still out there looking for a partner to come out there and help them with the streaming and, of course, all of that. We know that's still going on. And they don't want negative press or anything right now because they're trying to land that partner for future investment. That's why they're being so toxically positive about everything. Doctor Who's not dead. It's going to go on for it's the best show in BBC history, right? I mean, they're doing the standard corporate responses that they don't have an answer. It's because they don't have an investor. Now, this has all led to problems internally as these 5 episodes are still looming. And apparently Disney requested a lot of edits, a lot of changes because Russell T Davies has been off the map, just insane. And obviously the reaction to Doctor Who, they know that the fans caught on to that the episodes were pretty poorly written. They were just skin suits for his like little political rantings and actual personal rantings. You saw in the second season, especially, it was all attacks on the fans. It was directly referencing RIP Doctor Who as a hashtag. It was very much him being thin-skinned and making it all about himself, as these people are wont to do. Well, I'm sure that didn't fly well when it was going with the war between the land and the sea as well. So Disney requested a lot. We know that they delayed the show. They're not particularly even interested in it. And Russell T Davies feels offended by this. If you noticed, he went out to BAFTA Awards just about a couple weeks ago. He won some award for excellence in television. I don't like roll my eyes. And with that, he gave this speech about censorship and how the BBC's censoring him and everything's getting bad and it's all because of Trump. It was ridiculous. And it's like, how are you being censored? You've been running like one of the biggest sci-fi properties in the history of mankind and had carte blanche to do so with obviously nobody even trying to tone you down. Well, I think that toning down is happening with the war between the land and the sea. So he's furious about this, and he's furious about the fact that it's been delayed. It's furious about the fact that it's been punted because they're just not prioritizing it because they don't really care and don't want it out there. And so he's apparently at the point where he's so mad about what's going on behind the scenes with Disney, behind the scenes with the BBC. Finally, there's a reckoning. It's like, okay, you've failed. We got to actually change things now. And he was hoping he was going to be able to get to do his own little political spin crap for a long, long time. You saw how Jane Tranter said that a couple years ago, that it was going to go through 2029. He'd already written season 3 of Doctor Who with Gatwa in mind in advance, just thinking it's just going to continue on and everybody's going to just be happy and he'd just get carte blanche and big checks to do whatever he wanted because that's what he's always been pandered to. And this is what happens when you bring in diversity hires. Russell T Davies, mark my words, is a diversity hire. He's brought in with the knowledge that he's just a full homosexual activist at this point, and this is all he's going to be doing and bringing to the table. He brought in Gatwa, who's a homosexual activist. Everybody on his writers team in season 2, homosexual activist. He wanted these activists in there, and they did have a blank check, and they did have no oversight, and the companies are like, wait a minute, we lost a crap ton of money because of this. So they're not happy with this. And he's not happy that they're not happy because he wants them to just care more about his political agenda, as he said before, than Doctor Who. He actually said this at San Diego Comic-Con last year, that he didn't care about Doctor Who because trans rights are more important. This is how off the wall this guy is. You're getting paid millions of dollars to write Doctor Who. You should care about Doctor Who first, you idiot. That's your job, right? I mean, gosh, my job, like, I'd care more about it if you give me the showrunner position. Jane, hire me. Just call me up. I could fix it, but I know they won't. It's really funny. So he's furious, and he is going to be quitting, is what my source says, and he's already going to be gone. There's not been an announcement yet about this, but I'm heard that the announcement's going to come in the next few months, as they're trying to land that partner first, and then kind of just softly make him go away to bring in the next chapter of Doctor Who. Big, big news. Let's see if this all comes true, like the rest of my rumors have so far. We've been very, very on the spot as we've been reporting. Just good stuff here. And I really appreciate you guys being here all along the way. What do you think about this? I think this is the biggest news I've heard in a while. I'm glad. I hope Russell T Davies is out. They need somebody else. Obviously, they're not going to hire me, but they do need to hire somebody who actually cares about science fiction and fantasy, especially the legacy of Doctor Who, more than their own activism. That is like the bar at this point, at the very minimum. Leave a comment. Who do you think it should be to showrun Doctor Who? Check out my Valiant Frontiers in the description below. Really appreciate you guys being here, and we'll be back soon.